This week on Stogie Geeks News, we got news from Oliva, J.C. Newman, Montecristo. We have a People News update and also an update from Washington, so stay tuned.
This is a Security Weekly production.
Welcome, everybody, to Stogie Geeks News for this December 2nd, 2016. Will Cooper from the library in Studio C, and we have Mark, Riley, and Tyler at the Villiger North America Studios in Rhode Island. And now for this week's news. We start things off with Oliva, and if it's December, then it's usually the time of the year we see the Oliva Serie V Maduro release, and the 2016 edition of the Oliva Serie V Maduro has now made it up to retailers around the country. For the third year in a row, this is going to be a 6x60 double Toro, and it's going to use a San Andreas Mexican Maduro wrapper over Nicaraguan binder and filler. And for those keeping score of the Oliva Serie V Maduro, this is the third consecutive year for that 6x60 San Andreas Maduro release. And in fact, Oliva Serie V Maduro has been using the San Andreas wrapper now for the last 7 years. So you can now see that cigar in the stores, and that's usually an item a lot of folks look forward to every year. Something else that's come out in time for the holidays is actually something that was a long-awaited release, and this one is from J.C. Newman Cigar Company, and it is the Black Diamond. And when I say this has been long-awaited, this has been for about 3 years. Folks have been waiting for this, but J.C. Newman has finally released the Black Diamond. It actually was released on Black Friday, which was the day after Thanksgiving. And this cigar was released to J.C. Newman's Diamond Crown Lounges. Now, what is the Black Diamond? The Black Diamond is a Maduro offering under the Diamond Crown line. Now, originally, about 3 years ago, J.C. Newman was looking at taking its regular Diamond Crown Maduro and just rebranding it as the Black Diamond. Then they started playing with packaging, and then they started playing with blends. One thing led to another, and eventually the project just got delayed as it was being developed into something that's an all-new blend right now. So now it's released. It's got some stunning black lacquer piano box packaging. The bands have this really stunning blue and silver on it, so it's something really, really nice. The blend itself is a Connecticut Havana Seed Sun-Grown Maduro over Dominican binder and Dominican filler from the Fuente Farms. And it's Arturo Fuente is producing this cigar as they produce all the other Diamond Crown cigars. It's going to be available in 3 sizes: Emerald, a 6x52, a Radiant, a 4.5 by 54, and a Marquis, a 5 1/4 by 56. The 3 sizes will be in 20-count boxes, so you can expect to see those at your local Diamond Crown lounges, and they'll probably be more widespread release in 2017. Turning our attention, AJ Fernandez has a new collaboration, and he is now collaborating with Altadis, actually, on a Montecristo project called the Montecristo, crafted by AJ Fernandez. And this is the first collaboration that AJ Fernandez has done with Altadis/Montecristo. The difference with this particular release is it's actually going to be distributed by a group called Santa Clara Cigars, which is basically another distribution arm under the Tabacalera USA, which is Altadis is a part of, but it's a separate distribution. They primarily have handled distribution around J&R cigars, but they've also offered these releases to brick and mortars nationwide. So typically what you'd see is some of these J&R releases would be made available to brick and mortars through Santa Clara Cigars, and that's what you're seeing with the Montecristo crafted by AJ Fernandez. The cigar itself is going to feature an Ecuadorian Sumatra Oscuro wrapper, a San Andreas binder, and a combination of Nicaraguan and Honduran filler. It's going to be available in 5 box press sizes: a Figurado, a 4x52, a Robusto, a 5x52, a Toro, a 6x50, A Gordo is 6 by 58, and a Churchill 7 by 50. And this is starting to hit the stores as we speak. And it's been a busy year for AJ Fernandez. He's done a lot of high-profile releases this year with a lot of companies. You know, he's done 2 with General, which is the Hoyo La Amistad and the Foundry Time Flies, were both AJ Fernandez blends. He did the La Polina Nicaraguan lines. He did Foundation Cigar Company's Tabernacle release, and he worked on Boutique Blends' Aging Room Pelo de Oro. So very busy year for AJ Fernandez. And actually, as we turn our attention to people news, AJ Fernandez is prominent there as well. Ricky Somoza, the U.S. Director of Operations for AJ Fernandez Cigars, has left the company. And Ricky actually came into that job early in January. And it was at the time that AJ Fernandez had bought out his partner, Chris Kachurian, and basically opened up a new distribution center in Miami. And Ricky Somoza was AJ's factory manager, and he brought him up to the U.S. to run the U.S. operations. Cigar Coop and Stogie Geeks have learned that Bernie Rodriguez has assumed Somoza's responsibilities for the time being. So the AJ Fernandez carousel continues to turn. They've had a lot of turnover in that national sales manager / operations role, but we wish Ricky the best in his endeavors. Meanwhile, there was another big departure this week. Alan Wilner departed General Cigars. And what you need to know about Alan Wilner is he was the company's vice president of marketing since 2011. He has left General Cigar to pursue other interests. And this is the latest move with General Cigar, where we've seen quite a bit of executive departures. We've seen last year the parting of ways with Dan Carr, who was the president of General Cigar, and then earlier this year we saw Michael Giannini depart the company, and he was the longtime creative director. So now Alan Wilner moves on, and current General Cigar president Regis Brosma is assuming the day-to-day leadership of General's marketing efforts. We have some news out of Washington, and the politics of cigars continues to go, but we have a new administration coming into the presidency, and Donald Trump, and he's starting to put together his cabinet. And a key cabinet appointment for cigar enthusiasts to look at is the appointment of Tom Price as the nominee for Secretary of Health and Human Services. Tom Price is a congressman from Georgia, and he is going to be, if approved by the Senate, if his nomination is approved by the Senate, he'll be heading up Health and Human Services, by which the U.S. Food and Drug Administration falls under his watch. So obviously the FDA is something on the minds of a lot of cigar enthusiasts, given that they are now regulating the industry. Some good news that we've seen from Tom Price is he's shown he has been supportive of some of the efforts in the cigar industry in the past, as he's co-sponsored the 2011 bill and the 2013 bill to exempt premium cigars. He hasn't signed on to the 2015 bill yet, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's not on board with that. Sometimes these things just take time to do that. So not necessarily, again, a silver bullet for the cigar industry, but it's definitely a favorable hire, and we'll have to see what happens. Another thing that typically happens when the new administration comes in is typically we've seen a change at the FDA leadership. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. And finally, as a part of the President-elect Trump's transition team, he has named a person by the name of Mauricio Clava-Caron to his transition team. And what you need to know about Mauricio is he is currently the executive director of a group called Cuba Democracy Advocates. It's a lobbying group that's in favor of keeping the U.S. embargo against Cuba intact. He's also a member of the board of directors of a U.S.-Cuba Democracy Political Action Committee. Mauricio is one of the most outspoken critics of the Obama administration's loosening of the regulations with Cuba. So, and one thing that President Trump has said is that if he is looking to basically make a better deal with Cuba in order to stay on the road to restoring diplomatic relations and ultimately ending the embargo. So Mauricio, he's going to be part of the Treasury Department transition team, and that's significant because they're responsible for enforcing the U.S. embargo. So definitely something to watch right now, because I'm assuming Mauricio's appointment to the transition team is not going to necessarily mean that he's going to advise President Trump to continue on Obama's course. It's probably just going to be the opposite right now. So we need to kind of stay tuned for that as cigar enthusiasts. Anyway, that concludes this week's Stogie Geeks news for December 2nd, 2016. Be sure to check out the Stogie Geeks live show every Monday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, www.stogiegeeks.com, or on our Facebook page. You could check out Stogie Geeks News, this broadcast, on www.stogienews.tv. Stogie Geeks Shorts at www.stogieshorts.tv. And, of course, Cigar Coop for the latest news and reviews, www.cigar-coop.com. Thank you, everybody.